everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Now I'm going to show you how to play everything you just heard in the intro there. We're going to break that down note for note. This is the third part in a three-part country mini-series, so if you've missed the first two parts, be sure to check them out. In the first two parts I show you how to play the lead part, but in this we're only going to focus on the rhythm. If you do need to download the tablature for this, you can do so, or the jam track. I've got an MP3 file that's missing just this part, so you can play along and fill in the missing part. It's a great way to learn, but you can get those over at www.activemelody.com. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to break down the country rhythm part now. Before I start tearing it apart, I'm going to go ahead and play through it by myself without any kind of jam track, just so you can have that as a reference, and you can hear what it sounds like on its own. So here it is, pretty close to tempo. Okay, it just repeats over and over again. So that's pretty close. It's a little slower than the actual tempo, but so one thing to point out before we get started, the right hand, I'm using a technique which is really a hybrid picking technique, where I'm using a pick and I'm holding the pick between my index and thumb. By the way, that's the proper way to hold a pick. I'm holding my pick that way, and then I'm also using these two fingers, my middle finger and my ring finger, with my right hand. Now if you'll notice, I have longer fingernails. That doesn't mean that you have to have them. You can play this style without them. It does help. Obviously it gives you a little more a little something to grab on with, but for years I didn't have longer fingernails and I would play this style. So it's not a requirement. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, and so the first thing that happens is we are playing an A down here in first position. First position is down here on the neck. And what I'm doing, I'm just barring the first four strings on the second fret. And you're going to keep that bar for quite a while, for pretty much the whole time you're in this A part. And you'll see what I mean as we break it down. But in addition to those first four strings, you're going to play this open fifth string. It's just an open string, and that's an A by default. So that's actually your first note. You're defining the rhythm with that. And I play that with my pick with the right hand. Then I come in and follow that up with a pluck with my middle finger and my ring finger on strings 3 and 4. The whole time I'm barring the second fret. So you don't have to worry about your left hand. Just get that bar in place, and then let's focus on the right hand. And that's the first thing that you're creating there. Now for some of you that have never done hybrid picking like this, you might already be having a bit of a challenge just to create that. And that's okay. This shouldn't run you off. You should really try and learn this, because you'll use this style of picking quite a bit, and it'll actually help you. It'll give you more variables to work with when you can use other fingers in addition to using your pick. So just practice that. If you're having a challenge there, just keep doing that over and over again. Tap your foot or set a metronome, and just try and get that down. You can see how effortless, I can't speak today, it looks with my right hand. I'm not doing a whole lot of movement there. My wrist is kind of locked. My hand isn't all over. It's not loose. It's just sort of resting against the guitar. It's very comfortable. And it allows you to get some speed going, because you don't have to jump back and forth between strings like you do if you're playing just with your pick. Okay, so enough of that. So that's the first thing that you do is that. Then I played this little walk up. Now for that, in this walk up you're going to use quite a bit in this rhythm, but I use this all the time, and I'll show you that in just a second. But so what I'm doing there is I'm on those first two notes are played on the fifth string. The first one is on fret 3, and I play that with my middle finger. Keep in mind my finger stays barred here. My pointer finger stays barred the whole time. So that's my middle finger on fret 3, string 5. Then I hammer on to fret 4, string 5, and I'm hammering on with my ring finger. Okay? Now after I do that, then I come up and play. And that's just doing, I'm just plucking strings 4 and 3 again with my middle finger and ring finger. It's the same strings we just plucked, but this time I'm doing them, instead of doing them together, I'm breaking them apart. Doing, you know, the 4th string first, then the 3rd string. So all together it sounds like this. That's how it's supposed to sound. Notice I'm just picking once in all of that. Watch the pick. It's just one downstroke. Right there. Okay? So slowly, up to that point, what we have is... Okay? Again, if you're struggling, you know, you may want to cut this lesson off right there and just let that be a rhythm. You could do it at a shuffle. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with just what we've learned thus far. Now I use that little walk up all the time, even if I'm doing a slow blues, for example. It works really well. So, okay, so that's the little walk up. So up to this point we have... Now, I come back down and I hit that open 5th string. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this kind of alternating thing between string 3 and 5, where I'm going to play. You hear that? It's 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. And so what those notes are is I come up here with my pinky and I play fret 5, string 3. Keep in mind, notice this, my index finger on the 2nd fret stays barred the whole time. So that really never changes. Back to the 5th, so it's that, you know, 5th fret, 3rd string, then the open 5th string. Then I slide my pinky down 1 fret to the 4th fret, 3rd string. And then I come down and I'll play that open 5th string again. And then I let it go, and then I'm down here by default because of the bar, down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And again, after I hit it, I play that 5th string, that open string. Okay, so thus far what we have is... Okay, and then what I do is I go... And that sort of rounds it out. Now, what I'm doing there is exactly what you just learned a minute ago, that walk up. But this time it happens faster, so same notes, just different tempo. And it's a little different because we're skipping the 4th string. So we're actually jumping between strings 5 and 3. And so slowly what it looks like is this. And that's just string 5, open string. I'm going to pick, that's fret 3, string 5. I'm going to go ahead and hammer on to fret 4, string 5. And then I'm going to skip the 4th string. So I'm not going to pluck with my middle finger, but I am going to pluck with my ring finger on string 3, which is this note. and it gives you that sound. Okay, and you hear that a lot in rock. There's, obviously for copyright reasons, I'm limited on, showing other people's music, but, there's a John Mellencamp song, for example, that would have that kind of riff. And, you'd hear that in, some Rolling Stone stuff. And, it's just that kind of thing where you jump across strings is something that's very common. So, let's back up and let's play everything that we've learned thus far. So for this next part of the song, we're going to switch to the E chord. Now what I'm doing there is, to get to the E chord, is I'm starting with just, the same way that we started the song. It's just that open 5th string, plucking strings 3 and 4 fretted on the 2nd fret. And then I'm going to do those you've already done. That's just that, frets, fret 3 and 4 on string 5, that same hammer on. This time I'm going to pluck with my middle finger. I'm going to pluck the 4th string, 2nd fret. Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to switch, and I'm going to have to shift the bar so that it covers 5 strings instead of 4, and you're going to see why in just a second. So what I'm doing is I'm just I'm freeing up my hand to be able to do that. So now, after I hit that, which is where we just stopped, 2nd fret, 4th string, we're going to come back down here to the 4th fret, 5th string, and I'm playing that with my ring finger. So now, when I play that, notice what happens here with my pointer finger on my left hand. Now it's off the fretboard, so I'm no longer barring. This is the first time I've actually let go of the bar. So, and the reason I do that is I have to come up and grab the bar again. This time I'm barring so that I can play strings 6, 5, and 4. Now I know that's just part of the E chord. It's just the bottom 3 strings of the E chord. So if you think about an E chord that you'd make here, analyze it, look what's going on strings 6, 5, and 4. You'll see that these 2 fingers are in position there on the 2nd fret on strings 2nd fret strings 4 and 3. I'm sorry, strings 5 and 4. And what we're going to want to do to play that E chord is just bar it and play just the bottom 3. Because we don't have time, or really the resources finger-wise, to be able to play it a full chord. That's something that it took me a long time to learn, by the way. You don't always have to play all the notes of a chord. So when a lot of times when you think of playing a G chord, the first thing most people do is they come and they grab a G chord because you're playing all 6 strings. And if you're strumming and playing an acoustic guitar by a campfire or something, that's probably the right thing to do. But if you're playing electric guitar, especially in a band with other instruments going, you may want to think about playing a G chord like this, or even like this. Now when I'm doing that, I'm only playing the top 3 strings. It's not a full chord, but that's okay because the other instruments, especially the bass player, will make up for the other parts of the song. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that so that that's a way to play an E chord. And that's how I would play an E chord, especially if I'm doing a blues like that, like a 12-bar blues. And you're not going to make the full chord. You could, but if you want in a shuffle type thing, it's much easier to just bar on the 2nd fret, bar the first 5 strings, and just play those top 3 strings. Okay, so a little bit of a digression there, but thought it was worth it. So back to where we are. So after that, okay, let me rewind here. We came down, played the 4th fret, 5th string. Now, when I play the 5th fret, when I play the 5th string, 2nd fret, that's when my bar goes into place. And that bar just allows me to really to bar strings 5 and 4. Those are because the only strings we're going to play here is 6, 5, and 4 in the E part. Okay? So as soon as I play that 5th string, 2nd fret, then I can come down and hit the low E string, which is really the the 6th string open. Okay, so that whole part looks like this. Okay, let me do it again. Again, when you're playing that note, that's when your finger can come off the fretboard and come grab the proper, I'm sorry, not the proper, but grab the new bar, which includes that 5th string. And now you're already in position. Once that bar goes down, then you're in position to do this part of the song, which is, and that's how I kind of played the E. It's just a rhythmic thing where I go 6th string, I'm plucking, I'm doing that same technique again where I'm plucking with my ring finger and my middle finger, but this time instead of plucking strings 4 and 3, I'm plucking strings 5 and 4. Exact same thing that we did before, but everything is shifted down a fret. I'm sorry, down a set of strings, not a fret. And what I'm doing there is I'm going 6th string, pluck, 6, 6, pluck. But it's like that. I'm doing a little palm muting there. Now, you may want to just practice that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to rewind again, and we're going to back it all the way up, and we're going to play slowly up to that point. So it's... Okay, and then after that I go, and if you'll notice, that's that same walk up, between the 3rd and 4th fret, and this time I'm doing it on the 6th string instead of the 5th string, but it's the same exact, same exact pattern. Now, this time, when I'm on the 4th fret with my ring finger, that allows me to, since we're going to switch back to the A at this point, that allows me to raise my pointer finger off the fretboard and come back into position so that I'm only fretting the first 4 strings. And that way I can play strings 5, 4, and 3 for the A. Okay? And so you can see I'm already in position. That's your key note. As soon as you get to that note, 4th fret, 6th string, you can release your bar on the 2nd fret and reposition it, put it back down, this time allowing that open 5th string to ring out, which is the, lets you play the A. All right, so then we come back to the A, and it's just that same little thing that we've done before. Okay, and what now we're going to do is we're going to go to the D part. And the way that I'm playing a D is it's a little different, but it's only because I'm playing it with a bass note that you don't typically play when you're in first position with a D. Most of you probably know a D like this. And that's right, that's the right way to do a D. But what I'm going to show you is, for this, since most of our notes are down in this kind of low, you know, end down here, I'm going to show you how to play a D a little differently. And so for that, after the A, I come into position to do this D. Now, it's actually really easy to do, because all I'm doing is I'm playing an F sharp note in the bass, and to do that I'm on the 2nd fret 6th string, and I play it with my middle finger. So that's the note. And then my ring finger comes up here to same fret, 2nd fret, but is on the 3rd string to create that note. And that way when I'm plucking, it's that same deal where I'm going 6th string, and then I'm plucking strings 3 and 4 with my right hand, middle finger and ring finger. Just like that. And it's that same pattern where I go 6th string, so 6, pluck, 6, 6, pluck. So it's, and up to tempo would be something like, okay. Now, if you're having a hard time with that one, or we did it in E as well. Just practice, set a metronome or tap your foot and try and get. In the beginning, it's going to be very awkward, but that's okay. Just keep practicing it over and over. After a few days, that'll come down to, it'll just hit you out of nowhere, and you'll be able to do it. You know, some people, it takes longer, than others, and it all has to do with muscle memory. You know, some people, they had to learn how to juggle. You know, some people can just pick it up right away, and some people would have to work a long time to do that. This is the same kind of thing, though, to me, is that, just getting that muscle memory. But you can do this. All right, so let's back up and play up to this point. Now, to conclude this, what I do is after I play that A part again, which is just the same as the intro, it's just a down stroke on the open 5th string, and then we're plucking strings 3 and 4. Then I play this little thing. Okay? And to do that, I'm just going to reach up here to the 5th fret again with my pinky, kind of like we did before, but this time I'm on the 4th string. Now keep in mind, this stays barred the whole time, and you'll see why as you play this little lick. And that, all I'm doing there, it looks harder than it is, or it sounds harder than it is I'm grabbing that 5th fret 4th string, and I'm just pulling, and then I'm releasing, so it gives me kind of a pull off. Okay? Then I come down here and grab the 4th fret 5th string, and I use my ring finger for that. Sometimes I use my pinky for that. It just depends on what's easiest for you. And then I come down, when I do that, it's the same principle where I'm letting my bar off the fretboard so that I can put it down and play that E again. Okay? And it's that same rhythm of 6th string, pluck, 6, 6, pluck. And then to end it, I go, or to get back into the loop, I just do that little walk up. And that's that, open 6th string, 3rd fret 6th string, 4th fret 6th string, right back to the A again. So let me do that slowly. One more time. So just practice that little pull off. Okay, so there you go. That's the country rhythm part. Again, if you need the tablature or jam track for this lesson, have all of that at www.activemelody.com. Hope you've enjoyed this country mini-series.